Hello, and thank you for joining me. We all have to make decisions. We were, after all, created with free will. Sometimes poor judgment can lead to bad life decisions, which can lead to a prison sentence. Once released from prison, the odds are stacked against anyone as they try to reestablish their place in society. It is important to take a look at what they face and how it impacts their success or failure. According to a study conducted by the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the chances of recidivism after release increases over a 5-year period. More than 67% of those released from prison in 2005 were rearrested 3 years later. This number increases to 76% 5 years after release. Knowing the causes of recidivism can open a dialogue and help us to work towards solutions. 3 factors, among many, have a high probability of increasing the odds of recidivism: social stigma, homelessness, and substance abuse. As mentioned before, the choices we make impact our lives. The actions we take also affect how others view us. We are defined by our actions, which is why it's so difficult for ex-offenders to surmount their past and become part of society. Stigma surrounds ex-offenders and their self-value takes a huge hit. We have been taught by society that only bad people go to jail, that not only did they do something wrong, but they're fundamentally bad. The reason for incarceration, no matter how minor, or their attempts at getting their life back on track is seldom taken into account. As Christians, we like to think that we are welcoming and accommodating to people of all walks of life. But how many of us have judged someone based on their appearances? Have we ever shunned someone based on their criminal background? How are they supposed to re-enter the community when we refuse to accept them back? Real or perceived, stigma creates an environment wherein the stigmatized group is unable to perform at their full potential. This stigma also makes it difficult for them to obtain jobs. Studies have shown that gainful employment has a large impact on recidivism, but getting jobs is difficult for an ex-convict, even when the nation is at an economic high. It is found that in America in 1999, while the nation unemployment rate was just over 4%, in comparison, the ex-offender unemployment rate was 33%. Legislation such as the Ban the Box movement has been advocated to help the formerly incarcerated re-enter the workforce, but prospective employers fear that hiring these people is not in their best interest. The employers fear a lapse in their criminal behavior, and they don't feel protected by the laws currently put in place. Employers not wanting to hire past offenders can lead to long stints of joblessness for these individuals. In one such case, John Jones, a man with 3 prior convictions, claimed that after his second incarceration, it took him 18 months to find employment. During that time, he said that he had to do whatever he had to survive, and he did fall back on selling drugs. It wasn't nearly as difficult for him to find employment after his first incarceration. But back then, he didn't have to disclose on his resume that he had a criminal background. Now, on resumes, you have to tick a box that says that you have been convicted of a criminal offense. Now, since this has happened, he says that it's almost as if his resume, his application, goes into a black hole. Ostracized by the community and workforce, many of these people are left with very little and fall on hard times. Homelessness creates hopelessness and a risk of recidivism. Homelessness amongst adult, state, and federal prison inmates is 4 to 6 times the rate of the general population. Outdated or ineffective procedures can also have an effect after a prisoner has been released. Many times someone commits a crime in a county where they have no ties. They had no job, no family or friends, or residence there. Unless approved to be relocated to another place after release, they are released in that county. Again, they have no ties and they find themselves without a means to reintegrate and no resources. Those loose ties with the community and inability to find a suitable home sometimes makes prison look like a better alternative. The routine, a warm bed, regular meals, these are all things that sound a lot better than being homeless. Substance abuse is a prevalent issue amongst recidivists. Upon re-entry, those with a history of substance abuse are the most vulnerable. In fact, many of the incarcerated have been convicted of crimes relating to substance abuse. Nearly 74% of those in the criminal justice system are jailed due to substance abuse-related convictions. Poor access to treatment after release is a common complaint amongst ex-felons. An individual in a study on the relation between substance abuse and recidivism claimed that the lack of a support system made it easier for him to fall back into old habits. He used in order to mask his feelings and just because he was having cravings. Communities play a large part in the success of those who have paid their debt to society. They need help being accepted by society to obtain jobs, to be able to be productive in life, to find a home, and to keep away from habits that perpetuate a cycle of imprisonment. We have created a criminal justice system and societal environment that fosters a higher probability of recidivism and then condemn those who are unable to escape the cycle. We need to take a step back and take a look at a better solution in order to make these people feel welcome and make sure that we can create a more cohesive community. Thank you.